I don't even know where to begin. Or perhaps it is time I started from the scratch. My husband Brian and I first got together when I was 19. He was 22 years old and everything about him was giant. He was a good guy, reliable, and just had this knack for making me feel like the only one in the room. It was a fairy tale love and I didn't believe a word of it. And now we're married for 6 years. We have 2 wonderful children, and I am 6 months pregnant with our third. Seems like the privileged life. But life throws curveballs at you in the worst of times. All that was until my father Frank was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer 2 years ago. To say I value my dad would be an understatement. After my mother died when I was 12, he was my universe. He was everything to everyone, wore every cap and never made me feel like I wasn't having it. He is not my father, he is my hero. His laughter is so brilliant it could be in a room. And his hugs are so good you will have to believe everything will be fine, when in fact it's not. The first time we learned he had cancer, I felt as though the roof had come off. But Frank, he was calm, brave even. I said to him, "We'll fight this one step at a time." And we did. One medication after another, one appointment after another. I held on for dear life, we'd quit this. But 5 months ago, the doctor said something that nobody wants to hear. Months, not years. I still have that voice in my head. Ever since, it has been an erosion process. My dad is no longer the man he once was, and it's tragic. And the other day he was looking at Daisy, his dog, which he got for my 21st birthday, and he was like, "Hey, that's a cute dog. Where did you get her?" I stood there wailing and trying not to cry because I didn't know how much more. In all of this, Brian has been my hero. He's been such a shoulder to cry on, the one that always has my hand and a listening ear. He's come in a variety of forms I didn't expect, looking after the kids, taking care of the laundry, giving me space to take it all in. Even said I ought to quit my job to be with my father more. First I hesitated. I do not know why. Maybe I was hewing to something of order. Yet, when I got pregnant again, Brian told me it was the right decision still. So I gave up and I gave myself a breather for the first time in years. Thought I knew best. My grief was in the way, and my mothering and my wifing was in the way. My friend Sarah was the biggest support through all of this. I have known her since we were little kids. Our moms were also best friends, so naturally we were too. Sarah was always my friend, my shoulder to cry on. When I found out about my dad, she was the first person I called. I drove straight to her house and she held me and I wept for hours. Sarah is my soulmate, if there is such a thing as a soulmate in friendship. Or at least she was. Today morning all the sky fell. I was up early with my 3-year-old, who has been down for a few days. Brian's office alarm started to ring, so I turned it off and gently got him up. He mumbled something about staying up late and getting the morning off and rolling over and falling asleep. I went to shut down his other alarms and I saw a text message come up on his phone. It was from Sarah. It read, "I guess since there is no cranky pregnant woman knocking on my door, you still haven't mentioned us?" My stomach dropped. For a while I assumed I had missed it. But as I reached for his phone and pulled the key, it became real. Brian and Sarah have been in love for 4 months. 4 months of deception, of a betrayal from the 2 most important people in this world. I just sat there, scrolling through their messages, couldn't believe it. They said about me, my father, the baby in my womb. And the worst part, and they played it like they didn't know better. If this were to happen, I always assumed I would be able to see the repercussions. But there were none. Brian has been as present and reassuring as ever. He has not been distant. He's not being late to work and trying to justify himself. Not that Sarah has been any differently. She still calls Brian her brother. Still pretends she loves me. Why didn't I see this before? I have spent the whole day holding Brian's phone, reading their texts over and over, trying to unravel it all. How did it happen? I am constantly asking myself. How did I not know that? But no amount of wish fulfillment will alter the facts. The man I married, the father of my children, has abandoned me. And Sarah, she's shown me all I ever believed about our friendship was a myth. I know what I'm supposed to do next, but I'm not ready yet. Tomorrow I will confront Brian. So I'm going to get him to explain himself, despite the fact that I don't think he can say anything more to improve this. Sarah will not have the comfort of a fight, I won't. She is not worth my time or energy. Why she did it I don't care. That she did it is enough for me to sever her all from my life. I just need one more piece for today. I must sit and listen to myself, take all of this in and get ready for the hurricane. It is going to be tough, I know. It is going to be painful, but I also know I will survive it. Have to, not just for me but for my children. They need a mom that is not weak, who isn't defined by what other people do. And I don't need a lie and betrayal-free life. My tale is not done yet. It is just a chapter. And at the end of the page I will emerge a stronger person. But until then, I am taking the time to mourn the life I thought I'd lead and the people I thought I could rely on. This is another day, and I will meet it head on.